Having reached the end of Solo Leveling Core 1, I think we can all agree that this masterpiece is receiving a worthy anime adaptation so far. And being completely honest, the hype from the fans for each episode is enormous. Having said that, what if I told you that both the manhwa as well as the anime featured plenty of secret facts, Easter eggs, as well as records you never heard of before? Here are 28 things you never realized in Solo Leveling. Starting from the very basic, did you know that the Solo Leveling anime has 2 versions? Like seriously, listen to the same scene, both of which are official releases by the way.
右京さん、あんたは強い。
右京さん、あんたは強い。
俺はな、絶えずレベルアップしてんだよ。
俺はな、絶えずレベルアップしてんだよ。
In one version, we have Daito Ban, and in the other, we have Kensho Onna. One version is meant for Japanese audiences, and one is meant for everyone else. The reason for the 2 versions is the way that Japan is depicted in the manhwa, as Japanese are in a sense traitors that try to stab the Korean hunters in the back in later stages of the manhwa. And this was actually the reason why, despite the huge success Solo Leveling had, it took all those years until it got the green light for the anime adaptation, as animators were afraid of a potential Japanese backlash. But having said that, what changes are there between the 2 versions? Well, for starters, the 2 versions feature different names for the characters, and in some cases, even different voice actors. For example, in the Japanese version, Jin Woo is named Shun Mizushina, Choi Jong In is named Shin Mogami, Hae In is named Shizuku Kosaka, Baekhyun-ho is named Taiga Shirakawa, Go Gun-hee is named Kiyumi Goto, and Hwang Dong-soo is named Masato Ukyo. Yeah, you get the idea. But speaking of voice actors, did you realize with which anime series some of the Solo Leveling characters share their voice actors with? Let's start with the Japanese dub first. The Japanese voice actor for Mizushino is Kensho Ono, who also voiced Flock from Attack on Titan, Giorno Giovanna from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Yuri from Spy Family, and Canute from Vinland Saga, just to name a few. The voice actor for Jin Woo is Taito Ban, who also voiced Tun from Frieren. Choi Jong In shares his Japanese voice actor with Ging Freaks from Hunter x Hunter and Zansul from Boruto. Hae In, on the other hand, shares her Japanese voice actor with Ruri from Dr. Stone, Ultimatia from Ragna Crimson, and Kano Suyuri from Demon Slayer. On the English dub, on the other hand, Jin Woo shares his voice actor with Mash from Mashal, Shen from Undead Unluck, Hirako Shinji from Bleach, Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, Thorfinn from Vinland Saga, and Mikey from Tokyo Revengers. Choi Jong In shares his English voice actor with Tsukasa from Dr. Stone, Brook from One Piece, Whis from Dragon Ball, and Magna from Black Clover. Baekhyun-ho shares the same English voice actor with Roronoa Zoro of One Piece, All Might from My Hero Academia, Yami from Black Clover, Piccolo from Dragon Ball, and Vaccine Man from One Punch Man. Hae In, on the other hand, shares her English voice actor with Shion from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Roxy from Mushoku Tensei, and Yamato from One Piece. As you may have realized, Solo Leveling has broken many records since its release, so let's just mention some of them. For starters, Solo Leveling did not only break Crunchyroll servers during the release of episode 1, it also had the best anime debut of all time. It ranked better numbers than even the Gear 5 episode, at least on Crunchyroll, that is. But yeah, some records on the other hand were negative rather than positive. What do I mean by that? Solo Leveling episode 7.5 was a recap episode, and let me tell you, fans were not pleased with that. I mean, the episode is now officially the most disliked episode on Crunchyroll's history. At the time this video was recorded, the episode has over 75,000 dislikes, which, believe me, that's an enormous number for one website. Even Mr. Beast commented on that, saying, quote, "Not surprised. This show was amazing, and when I saw the new episode was filler, it actually made me depressed for a few minutes. I mean, Jimmy, if you're watching this, cut the producers some slack. Jin Woo's voice actor was literally seen spitting blood some episodes before, so it's normal that he maybe needed a few days to recover, and thus, production fell a bit behind." But back to some positive records. You see, Solo Leveling is about to release a new mobile and PC game named Solo Leveling Arise, and let me tell you, the hype and anticipation for it is enormous. I mean, it got over 5 million pre-registers within just a week of being announced. On to a wholesome reference next. During recent episodes, Jin Woo was seen doing a reference to Son Goku. You see, when being prepared to fight against King Taishik, Jin Woo featured a warm-up befitting of his GOAT status. This was the same iconic and legendary warm-up as none other than Son Goku. Not only that, this episode aired at the same week that Akira Toriyama tragically passed away. Now, I'm not sure if that was meant to be a tribute to Toriyama's passing, or if this was one heck of a coincidence. I mean, anime episodes are submitted for publication multiple days or even weeks before they officially air, so it's still not confirmed if this was meant as a tribute to Toriyama or just a general reference to Dragon Ball. But no matter matter what, that was a great reference all Dragon Ball fans must have picked up. A fact, however, that 99% of people probably never realized is the following. Did you know that Jin Woo actually has the ability to level up other people as well besides himself? As we can see here, it writes, quote, experience points may also be divided up between members, meaning that if Jin Woo opted to level up characters next to him, and this includes characters besides his shadows as well, then he could do it. The reason he did not, however, was because he wanted all the skill and experience points for himself in order to level up. Okay, we covered this next fact in a previous video we made about One Punch Man, but for those who missed it, here it goes again. Jin Woo is tasked by the system to do a rigorous training in order to power up. But did you ever realize that this training is inspired from One Punch Man? 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day. No wonder Jin Woo became the strongest hunter in the world. But if you think about it, a plot hole occurred. How does Jin Woo still have his hair after this training regimen? Another reference I bet you missed is that of Ben 10. I mean, Ben 10's original t-shirt is very characteristic, and not a design you'd easily find somewhere else. What if I told you that Jin Woo wore this exact shirt? Here it is! And for anyone ready to say this might have been random, well, I'm not so sure. Again, Solo Leveling featured plenty of references of other media in its show, so I do believe that this was intentional. You don't believe me? Check this then. In this particular chapter, we see an Easter egg of Iron Man in the crowd. Was Iron Man the only Marvel reference in Solo Leveling? Not quite, because if we keep reading, a few chapters later, we can see Spider-Man on top of a billboard that writes, quote, Marvel. Not only that, but there are books writing Disney, One Piece, and even a self-promotion of the Solo Leveling light novels. Was that all? Not even close. A few chapters later, we can see Captain America smiling in the background, and a few chapters after that, apparently Lee Jun-hee's father is Iron Man, as seen from the family pictures. Moving on, we even had a cameo appearance of Louis Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Again, this was not all, because here we can see both Captain America and someone holding what looks to be Batman's shield. Next, what if I told you that many designs of Solo Leveling characters were meant to be different in the early drafts? If you check Solo Leveling Chapter 0, you can see these 3 characters. Recognize them? This is Tusk, Igris, and Iron. Yeah, these were meant to be their character designs prior to the official release of the manhwa, and I do admit that I'm relieved this was changed. Current designs are 10 times more epic. When it comes to character names, did you know that many of them actually have real meanings or hidden Easter eggs behind them? For example, Kim Chul sounds like the Korean word chul, which means iron, which, as we all know, is what Kim Chul was later named by Jin Woo when being added into his shadow army. Baek Yoon-ho, on the other hand, has another secret meaning behind his name. If you take the words Baek and Ho, combine them, they spell White Tiger, which is exactly the name of his guild. When it comes to Korean translations now, well, we found a few more, to be honest. You see, during the Red Gate incident, Baruka is seen shouting Hyaki, which for those who don't know originates from Hyaki Yagyo, which is basically a night parade of 100 demons, according to Japanese folklore. Since we started speaking about the Red Gate, we also found another secret Easter egg. You see, the bears seem to have different icons on their bodies which indicate their ranks amongst them. The leader has this characteristic symbol. Remind you of anything? This is exactly the same symbol Baruka, aka the leader of the Ice Elves, features on his forehead. A detail now that I believe even most manhwa readers never realized is this. In recent episodes, we saw that Chi-Yul was training under an S-rank hunter in his sword-wielding skills. However, the S-rank hunter that trained him was not fully revealed. Or was she now? You see, a few chapters later, we see Hunter Hae In being in the same dojo as Chi-Yul. And since we know the rest of the S-rank hunters in Korea and their fighting styles, we can say with certainty that Hae In was, as a matter of fact, Chi-Yul's training accomplice all along. Now for the next point. Whenever you think you're unlucky in life, well, try to remember there are worse cases than you. Why? Because this guy named James was at the wrong place at the wrong time in 2 separate occasions. Once, he was there when Song Il-hwan appeared, and he was also there when 2 monarchs spawned out of nowhere in front of him. Imagine chilling without a worry in the world, and out of nowhere, monsters that can destroy entire nations casually appear in front of you. And you're unlucky enough to have this happen to you not once, but twice. Now, the next fact is among the most easily missed. When it comes to Aizen's long-lost brother, Choi Jong In, did you ever realize why he wears those rings on his fingers? As we can see here, the rings glow when using his fire spells, which most likely means that these rings are amplifiers, helping him reach even more powerful attacks. Okay, truth be told, some Easter eggs are even more goofy than most people thought. Here, as we can see, this guy is quite drunk. How am I sure he is drunk? Well, because I'm pretty sure the chopsticks are not meant to be used this way. You know, being stuck inside a person's nose. Moving on, we should mention how Tusk is among the fan-favorite shadows of Jin Woo. But did you ever realize that when Tusk uses different hymns, there is a zodiac table shown? Each time, the corresponding zodiac will light up depending on what hymn Tusk will use. Now, what if I told you that the strongest and one of the wealthiest hunters in the world actually uses an unlicensed stock image without even paying the corresponding license fee to remove the watermark, which most of the times is just a few dollars, by the way. As we can see here, Thomas Andre uses a stock image for his shirt, where the watermark mark is not even removed. Imagine being a multi-millionaire getting paid literally millions of dollars by the day when it comes to special requests, and yet you use a t-shirt with an unlicensed stock footage image. Damn, that's crazy! Now, as you may have realized, the solo leveling creators like throwing these random Easter eggs here and there. Did you ever pick up what that license plate actually writes in some occasions? Well, as we can see here, they feature words like Eureka, Nano, Whale, and even Goose Feet, whatever that might mean. Now, let's go back a bit once again, all the way to the double dungeon incident. Did you ever know that the altar is actually modeled after real-life altars people used in the past for sacrificial ceremonies? Yep, that detail is both kinda messed up and awesome at the same time. And if you ask me, it fit the occasion perfectly, as the character basically sacrificed Jin Woo in that very altar. But since we started with the double dungeon incident, the commandments in the tablet are written in what seems to be the Hebrew language. The significance of that? This was probably a reference to Moses and his 10 commandments. In the anime, however, these symbols seem to have changed into a different language. Click on this video, where we rank the top 35 strongest characters in solo leveling. Go on, check it out!